How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting. Welcome back to Higurashi When They Cry. So yeah, this is pretty exciting. We had our first episode. A lot of people are very excited to see the start of this series, which is fantastic. And we may have even met some new people. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. Hope you enjoy. I hope you find more content on here to enjoy, especially because, you know, these things take time. So if you're tired of waiting, check the backlog. I got a lot of good stuff. I've been making content for years now. I've covered several visual novels, many of which you probably heard of, some of which you might not have, but probably still worth checking out. So I also keep all my earliest videos up, even though they're kind of embarrassing because, you know, I didn't know what I was doing and I was playing by the seat of my pants and had to do everything from a really crappy college, laptop I got for college. But I had fun, and I always want to know where I came from, so that's always fun. It'll be interesting. Yeah, I can still see back in the day when my first videos were up and I get like 10, 20 views on them. And even though, you know, I'm still a small channel, especially in the scheme of things on the YouTube space, I'm still very, very proud of where we've come and the awesome community we've built. So thank you, and I hope you stick around. Anyway, yeah, we got a few of the things we're going to be doing. I did make a few adjustments we should see today. First of which, I thought we were on the console sprites. Turns out we weren't. We were on the remake sprites. I learned this because when I was setting up getting the mod that restored things, I said I wanted the console ones, but in the game it turns out it defaults to the remake, so you manually have to reset it back. So I just didn't realize that, and since I have no idea, I had to hear from you what the difference was. So they should be updated now. I double checked before we started, and otherwise everything's exactly where we left it. So we're gonna jump into the tips. I know for a fact that the tips they're probably the non-essential content, but I'm always going to try and explore them. I love doing deep dives. I love diving into the content, really trying to understand how things work, the worlds, the universes, the characters. So we're gonna do every single tip. Hopefully you don't find that boring, but we'll get to it when we can. In the future, unless I'm running up to the end of what I want to do for an episode, it's already gone a little long, I'll probably try and do tips at the ends of chapters right away, rather than waiting like I did today to do them before we start a new chapter, just because it can flow better and makes it easier to skip. But there's also timestamps in the description, so if you just don't want to watch the tip section for some reason, you can easily skip them. So yeah, it should be pretty clear what's going on and when, but thank you so much for your support. It means a lot to me. Sorry for all the rambling too, but I feel like I always want to be able to talk directly to you. I want to have that kind of connection and understanding. So I talk at the beginnings and ends of videos. You can always skip it if you want to, but I just wanted to know I appreciate you. Anyway, let's look at the tips. Now we only have the two, so we're a mixed grade and we don't have a uniform. Now obviously there's going to be pages on them, so I'm going to do an order. I clicked this one first last time, but I didn't really see anything for it. So we're going to just jump into it. And actually, it looks like the sprites are even updated here, so that's good. So we'll start with mixed grades, general uniforms, and we'll start the next chapter. Excuse me. I think I've got a cold building up. Oh yeah, someone also mentioned when I was talking earlier, they said that the voice actor for Keiichi is the voice actor who plays Takeru in the few times where he has a voice actor, which is really cool to see. I love all the interconnection and the crossover voice work that ends up happening in a lot of visual novels. It's really cool. Yeah, look at that. So a lot of you said that the animations to the sprites helps with the immersion, character design. Sometimes I heard some interesting stuff where a lot of people said they prefer the console character design for the most part, but that there are a few exceptions. So we'll see what I think about it. But so far, that's very cute. Oh, wait, what? Hey now, it would be weird if we were the same age, but not the same zodiac animal. Yeah, doesn't that, the alignment of the Chinese calendar have to be, really, you'd have to be born at a very specific time to miss that, right? Yeah, I think I liked Mion's other sprite a little bit more, but then again, maybe that's just the lizard brain part of me. I don't know. I was October. Ooh. Rena smirked and puffed up with pride. Hey now, what's the meaning of this? She's not planning to be all high and mighty if her birthday's a wee bit sooner than mine, is she? Uh-oh, you nervous?
だが諦めろ。俺に誕生日で挑もうったって無駄なことだ。なんなら一月差ごとに100円の賭けをしてもいいぜ。
Yeah, I don't know what that was about, but okay.
なんでだろう。
Rena panicked at suddenly being challenged to a wager. Given how panicked she is, I'm certain she doesn't have much allowance left this month. It's just sending her into a panic about something as simple as a birthday is so fun, I can't help myself. He's got a bit of a sadistic teasing streak, but that's, as long as it's relatively harmless, I can't be too upset about it. Just like, okay, dude.
ってことはケイちゃん、ひょっとして4月生まれ？
そういうこったな。
How'd she guess
残念
that?
だな、レナ。俺、もうとっくにレナより年上なんだよ。
Far older.
へえ、そうなんだ。じゃあ、みーちゃんと同い年なんだね。
Wait, who?
まあ、ほんの何ヶ月かはね。すぐにまた差を開いてあげるけどさ。
Mion snickered through her nose. Oh, so okay, so she's a little older than us. Right now, that's not something to get all high and mighty about. As if I'm one to talk here.
そういえば、ミオンって上級生なんだよな。
下級生の方が燃えるってんなら、今日から下級生ってことでもいいけど。
Oh my, okay. Alright, calm down. Just rein it in a little bit.
みーちゃん、よくわかんないこと言ってる。
I'm starting to believe that you do get it, Rena, but you just go into mental denial. Just seeing Rena's blushing face, you could tell she knew exactly what she meant by it, though.
で、サトコとリカちゃんが下級生と。どころか、学校が違うくらいの下級生だよな。
ケイチ君は、ちょっと好みの年齢が低すぎると思うな。
That's not what he was saying. You're not making any sense yourself, Rena. I'll just grab onto her head and scruff it up a bit.
やめて
Alright.
前から思ってたんだけどさ、なんでこの学校ってクラスが学年混在なんだ？
Oh, that's just a size thing. Like, it gets to the point where it just doesn't make sense, because then you have a teacher trying to teach a class of 1 or 2. And it's so inefficient. And it's also essentially would be way too expensive for the education. It'd be lovely, but it's gonna be hard enough just getting a teacher or 2 up here, let alone enough to do every grade.
教室の数が足りないからだよ。仕方ないじゃん。
There's also that.
営林署の建物を間借りしてんだからさ。
Wow. When she says it like that, it makes sense. I've thought our school was strange for a while now. Yeah. The schoolyard is gravel and the rooms that aren't for classes. There's some strange sort of construction machinery parked here.
なんで借りてるんだよ。本当の学校はどうしちゃったんだよ。
戦前からずーっと建ってたらしいからね。老朽化でね。
Oh, got dilapidated. I thought it got destroyed. I'm like, oh no.
廃校ってわけよ。
It probably was a grand old schoolhouse.
まあそれで生徒は町の学校に通うことになったんだけどさ。遠いでしょ？どこの学校だったの？
Yeah, how far would you have to travel? That'd be insane.
沖宮の駅前通りを抜けて病院に曲がって小児科の向かいに学校あるのわかる？遠いよ。
I couldn't tell whether that was by the location, but I understood it was pretty far from Rena's reaction.
まあそんなわけでさ。
Yeah, it'd probably be like a 2-hour commute by train and walking. So imagine, not only do you have to be at school at 7 in the morning, but you all have to start leaving your house by 5 just to get there on time. And that's assuming the train schedule lines up with you or even operates that early out in the countryside.
沖宮の学校に通いたくない連中はこうして営林署の建物を間借りした仮校舎に通ってるってわけさ。hinamizawaの子供の半分くらいかな。朝早くに自転車で通ってる子たちも結構いるよ。
So the other half commute?
まあこんなはちゃめちゃな学校に通ってたら進学校とかはちょっと無理だろうからね。
Why would it? Okay, I'm not sure if you're meaning messed up by just the fact that the school is so small and kind of wacky, but huh.
そんなことないよみーちゃん。ちゃんと頑張ればどこでだってお勉強はできるよ。
Technically, all you need is certification. I don't know if that's they get diplomas like we do in high school in the United States, but whatever the equivalent is of a high school diploma in Japan, as long as it's accredited, recognized by the state, each diploma is essentially the same. Well, not quite. There's a lot of schools that might have prestige, and that's the funny thing is that like it sounds like in Japan, because education is so like prominent and elevated for social status, that the type of pedigree and kind of wrestling for top positions that we see in colleges has trickled down into the high schools and even maybe the middle and elementary schools, where they will like campaign to try and get students to be brought in, or you'll have special private schools that like talk about optimization and proper, you know, student behavior and all that stuff.
お、そうだぞそうだぞ。レナとは意見が一致したな。
そうだね。頑張ろう。せいぜい頑張ってくださいな。おじさんはささやかに応援しとりますわ。
I will not understand why she calls herself an old man. Is it just her excuse to trying to be dismissive about the pervy thing she says?
俺たちがじゃないぞ。ミオンがだぞ。お前受験生だろ。こんな成績じゃお先真っ暗だぞ。
いいもんいいもん。路頭に迷ったら永久就職してケイちゃんに食わせてもらうから。
Sure. I'm glad that you feel like you're safe as a backup plan is me.
永久就職ってなんだろう。なんだろう。
That wasn't even dirty, Rena. What are you talking about?
ほらそこ。うるさいですよ。自習は静かに。
The teacher yelled at the three of us. It was completely our fault. Of course it was. Satoko, okay, I do think her other sprite was a little better, but she's still funny looking. Well, funny looking isn't like adorable, but like a rascally kind of funny. Satoko saw it and chortled haughtily. I stuck out my tongue at her in response. It is just as Mion says. This school has nothing to do with higher education, but it makes up for it by having lots of valuable things other schools don't. All right, well, that was fun. And the uniform. We don't have a uniform. Because, yeah, it's very clear. Everyone just kind of wears what they think is a uniform. It's only June, but it's already so hot. I could hear the Higurashi outside chirping, me at night. And there are mosquitoes. Yeah, I actually found that out when I was, like, writing up the description for the last video. You know, you put in titles and you put in information. Yeah, you got to play with the SEO a little bit to try and make your videos findable. I'm no master. I simply kind of try and glean and learn what I can, but it adapts and kind of changes. And the people who have it most figured out don't share it because they want to perform consistently better than everyone else. So they don't talk about like, and so maybe I should just take one of those accreditation classes of like SEO, like, you know, understanding. Like, I think you can do that online. I might just want to do that sometime, just for the business's sake. But, yeah, Higurashi is, like, cicada. Specifically, I think a night cicada. But, yeah. It's funny, too, because growing up, I never had cicadas where I grew up. It just, the climate was not compatible with them. But where I live now, we get cicadas. And I almost think I would miss them now. They're annoying, but at the same time, they're kind of, like, comforting. It might as well be summer already. My only salvation was that the mornings are still cool.
暑いでございますわね。
Yeah, Satoko was flapping her skirt languidly. That's pretty unladylike there. Even if she was a little brat, she was still a girl.
ケイチさんはワイシャツ一枚で涼しそうですわね。羨ましいですわ。
I don't know. From what I understand, dresses are actually very nice when it's hot. But I don't know. I've never worn one.
俺から見りゃ、スカートのサトコの方が涼しそうだよ。この時期のズボンの股ぐらがどれだけ蒸すか。
Yeah.
女のお前にはわかるまい。
I mean, like, if there's like, is it just super like taboo to wear shorts? I would assume that they would have a summer uniform that would allow shorts, but maybe not.
蒸すんだ。
Oh, Rena's overfeeding. This girl's gone imagining something indecent. Oh, really? Gosh, she's actually one of those things. Like, she's that really like naive, nice girl who has an overactive, like, maybe somewhat suppressed sexual like urge, because like everything she jumps to conclusions with.
レナの夏服は涼しそうな色合いがいいよな。見てるこっちも涼しくなる。
ありがとう。本当に涼しいんだよ。
That's good.
私もレナさんみたいな涼しい夏服が良かったですわね。でも、さとこちゃんの夏服ワンピースですっごい可愛いし、レナはさとこちゃんの夏服着てみたいな。 これ結構蒸しますわよ。絶対にレナさんの方が涼しいですわ。
Why don't you try? Or at least something
でも
similar.
可愛い服の方がきっと楽しいよ。は
Uh-huh. I had a feeling that Rena and Satoko's base values were fundamentally different. It reminds me of the curly hair and straight hair. I had lots of friends in high school, like, the girls would talk about that, and, like, the girls who had naturally straight hair would look at girls with curly hair and be super jealous. But the girls with curly hair, which I specifically know because my mom has very curly hair, not like the really tight curls that kind of try to poof up. She has these really natural, big, like loopy curls that are actually, it looks very, like, it looks like she just went and did something, put product or got them stylized, but no, they're just natural. They just have these really nice curls. But she always talked about how much she hated it because they always knotted up if you didn't brush it like every morning and night. And so she was always jealous of the friends she had who had very straight hair because she's like, you don't have to do as much with it. It's not as like hard to manage. So I feel like it's just one of those things, the grass is greener type of situations.
そういえば、この学校って指定の制服とかないんだよな。
I like how it's actually addressing something that got brought up in the first episode. Like, I was like, why? Like, there's no coordination here. And there's a point.
ふさわしい服であれば、私服でも大丈夫なんだよ。
Alright, so they just have to be acceptable standards. So yeah, he might have to wear pants even if it's hot. The girls have to probably wear skirts or something equivalent. There are quite a few students in regular clothes. There were a few wearing uniforms, but they were all the same design and rather plain.
他の連中が着てる制服は何なんだよ。みんなお揃いだよな。
あれは町の学校の制服なんですのよ。別に決まってるわけじゃないですけど、みんな着てますわね。
Okay, so they bought the same uniform for the city school that they might be commuting to. Maybe because their parents weren't sure if they were going to commute or not. But either way, it just looks nice. Like, it looks proper.
そこへ行くと、俺らの仲間はみんないろいろな制服を着てるよな。わざわざどこかから取り寄せたのか？
ええ、ミオンさんが調達してくださいますの。
Mion, interesting. I guess she does live
みーちゃ
perpetually
んの親
online.
類で古着商をやってる人がいて、全国の学校の服を格安で仕入れてるんだって。
Oh, that's kind of cool. Like a secondhand clothing store. I imagine that's as tough. Like, that might be a business that you can make sustainable, but I doubt it'd be very profitable.
で、その親類に頼んで、いろいろ個性的な制服を取り寄せてもらってるわけか。
Oh, I'm sure it's just whatever fits. That Mion, she probably loves using her friends as dress-up dolls. Probably. That must be a strange secondhand clothing store. I get that it's a secondhand clothing store, but stocking clothes from all schools all over the country? That's pretty strange for a secondhand clothing store. It's said that twice now, and now it's starting to make me wonder. It's like, my natural thinking would be school uniforms are something that most people would give away, because once you grow out of them, what else are you going to do with them, right? Especially with other clothes. So it feels like there would be tons of secondhand clothes moving around. But the way he's making a point of it's now making me wonder, what? Do they have is their business them like, I don't know, grave robbing or something? That's like one of those, like, what a store that has suspicious, like, amounts of odd clothes can, like, that's one of those, like, moments. But also in Japan, they don't usually bury people, right? It's usually cremation. What's the point of stocking up clothes from faraway schools they know nothing about?
それはレナも思うよ。他にも体操服とかスクール水着のお風呂とかも扱ってるの。そういうののお風呂はちょっと嫌だよね。
Definitely PE uniforms. Swimsuits too, like, it's kind of like, but at least, like, swimming suits, at least guy ones, they're, I don't know, feel like you clean them, maybe give them a good, like, scrubbing and it's probably fine.
あんまり儲かってなさそうな商売だな。きっと少しでも儲けさせるために、ミオンが一肌脱いでやってるんだろうな。
でも、いつもミオンさんが自信満々に言いますのよ。今にきっと大ブレイクしてすごい商売になるって。
I mean, it's optimistic, but you gotta think about your audience. Like, who are you catering to with a secondhand store? You're catering to people who just inherently have less money to roll around, or maybe are just really interested in saving. And that's great, but if they're actually going to be saving money, then you can't be charging full price. So unless you're getting these clothes for next to nothing, and you're selling them at about like a 50% markup, like from or 50% down from what new would be, you could make a profit. But especially out here in the middle of nowhere, how are you going to get like foot traffic in? Like, even if you'd had tourists, how many of those are going to buy secondhand clothes? A secondhand clothing store that stocks school uniforms will be a big hit? I don't get it. I mean, I could think of some things that could work, but not much. All right, well, that's enough of that. We've seen the tips. I'll just save because I'm not sure if you're supposed to save or not. I don't think it matters. It looks like it doesn't look like it's tracking what ones you've seen or not. It's like leaving it up to me. So let's continue. I took it a little too easily on the morning of my day off. I was totally late. And to top it off, that pesky mom of mine pushing the return journey errand on me just as I'm trying to leave the house. Today was the day Rena and Mion and I were going to show me around Hinamizawa. So Mion is coming after all. Oh wow, look at that. Okay, nope, I like these sprites a lot. These sprites are great. Design's fantastic. I like Mion's ponytail. That's pretty good. Like that character design looks great. Rena, why do you look like you're about to like wave goodbye to like a soldier in the Navy? Like, I don't know how else to describe that dress. I mean, it looks pretty, but it feels way overdone for what we're doing today. Rena and Mion are already waiting for me at the meeting place. Wow, this guy is like Takaru.
女の子との待ち合わせに遅刻して言い訳がそれってわけ？
みーちゃんだって今来たばかりなんだよ。
Oh, cut!
ゆうべの密着24時間面白かったし、ねえ。
Oh yeah, it's the same show? She was just as guilty as me. Rena was carrying a pretty heavy-looking handbag. What is that? Mion answered my unspoken question with a wink. That's right, Rena really did make a picnic.
ケイちゃん、あの後レナ。大張り切りだったらしいよ。
Oh no.
別に俺がけしかけたわけじゃないだろう。
She's just saying, be appreciative, man. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. At the very basic level, show her how much you appreciate her hard work.
そんな大変じゃなかったから気にしないでよ。ね。
Oh, Rena. You're trying way too
ゆうべから
hard.
今朝まであのテンションらしいよ。責任取れんの？
わかった。俺も男だ。責任は取る。
責任ってなんだろう。
Rena. As we both turned around slowly to look at Rena, our gazes drift downwards toward the massive handbag she was carrying. Didn't seem logically feasible that it would be entirely filled with lunchboxes. You better offer to carry that, bud. Except this was Rena we're talking about here.
2キロくらい。
Oh my gosh! That's impressive!
レナね、荷物持つとき、よっこらしょって言ってた。
Yeah, I see where this is going. Oh boy.
5キロ。
それはオーバー。
5? Can we even eat all that?
ケイチ君男の子だから。
I'm not a sumo wrestler!
きっといっぱい食べるだろうと思ってたくさんね。もう行こう。よっこらよっこ。
Oh my gosh, this girl. This girl is too much. Just from the way she's lifting it up, I couldn't believe the only things in there were lunchboxes.
訂正。俺も5キロ。
手伝いはするけど、全部食べるんだからね。
Oh no.
レナを悲しませたら許さないよ。
I'm so glad I'm off market, because if I was under the pressure, I don't eat very much. So if I went under this pressure, I'd just be and if I don't finish the food, it would literally break their heart. I would just give up. I would die. I would either die trying to eat it all, or I would die like disappointing. Well, I don't know. I mean, Rena could probably, I don't know. She's a little too precious, if that makes sense. It's like, come on, girl. It's okay. Life's life. The only thing I could do at that moment was exercise a bit to make myself hungrier. Carry the bag, box, whatever it is. Having finished with the pleasantries, we began our leisurely stroll. A carefree walk bathed in the gentle morning sunlight. I couldn't have even imagined something so wholesome existed during my time in the city. These were the boonies, after all. I almost called it Bonnies for some reason. No solemnly desk jockeys trudging to work on the weekends out here. It was really a nice place, peaceful and quiet. Ah, sounds like a dream. And there's like real life pictures of the valley, like someone posted in the Discord. They posted it in the Higurashi chat, but I asked them to move it because I actually have a section on the Discord for like future Japan trip ideas, because I am planning to go to Japan at least once. But it's interesting too, because like it sucks because I really wish I could speak Japanese, because I'm not even that interested in the super touristy stuff in like Tokyo. There's some places there I'd want to go, but frankly, I'd be way more interested in going to the countryside. Like, these places look beautiful and amazing. It's all the kind of stuff I like to do, but I also know that because I don't speak Japanese, it'd be really difficult for me to go to these places, because they're not going to have the same accommodation that places like Tokyo and even Kobe and Hiroshima would have. Like, they have infrastructure for tourists and English especially, but on the countryside they wouldn't. But that'd be the places in Japan I'd be most interested to see. So that'll be, I don't know what I'll do. Unless I find somebody who I can travel with who can speak Japanese, I imagine it wouldn't really be that feasible, or it'd be really awkward and frustrating for the people around me. That wouldn't be fun. As sparsely populated as the village was, you could still run into people just by walking around.
こんにちは。
こんにちは。あら、そちらは。確か、前原くんだったかしら?
Is that us? My two companions exchanged greetings with everyone we ran across. All these passerbys knew my name. By the way, I don't know if we'll get a decent shot for the thumbnail, so this might be a good one. I like these outfits though. Like, I like this, not just the style, but just like you can there's personality in how you decide to dress the characters, so that's really cool. Oh, dude, it's a small town. Anytime someone new moves in, it's always of interest. We passed 3 people, and when all 3 of them knew me, I started to feel a bit paranoid.
悲しいかな。Hinamizawaは人が少ないからね。
It's always
みんな顔見知りなんだよね。
when you live in a small town, it's an event when someone new shows up.
つまりなんだ、知らない顔が歩いてれば、それは自動的に新しく引っ越してきた前原さんってことになるわけか。
I mean, it's a safe bet.
うん。そういうことになるね。
It was a process of elimination you could only pull off in a place like this, but it was quite effective. From now on, I'd better make sure to maintain a good reputation. The day I'm discovered accidentally gawking at a dirty magazine in the bookstore, I can expect that all villagers labeling me as a lurcher by the lech by the next day. Hinamizawa is not to be trifled with. I have a feeling that's true in a lot of ways. This is not the ending of this night. That's not the end of this nightmare. Oh, but it looks so pretty.
もちろんわかるよ。最初に会ったのが牧野林店の竹蔵おじさん。
Oh, the bike shop.
趣味は盆栽と尺八なんだよ。
That would be cool. Like, one of the things I wish I could do, I was inspired by abroad in Japan. Like, they do it as challenges or whatnot, but it'd be really fun to bike across Japan. That'd be really cool. I love bike riding. It'd be challenging, it'd be physically exhausting, but man, it would be pretty. I like how she knows so much about him. Like, she's like, he runs a bike shop, he grows bonsai, and he plays the flute.
次が乾物屋の次男の大輔くん。
I like this. Again, here's another fantastic picture. There's the 2 of them, but like, look at this scenery in the backgrounds. It's awesome.
趣味は狙撃で、将来の夢は超永久スナイパーだとか。
Oh. All right, that's an ambition.
それで今の人は入江診療所の看護師のミオさん。趣味は野鳥の観察と撮影だって。
How do you know all this about everyone?
すれ違った全員の名前までわかるのかよ。
It is a small town, but I feel like that's still a bit much.
プロフィールまで。
Yeah. Seeing my surprise, Mion and Rena exchanged looks and burst into laughter. Oh, were they making it up?
まあね。ここいらは都会みたいにご近所付き合いが希薄じゃないからね。
試しに聞いてみよう。今ここにいる俺は誰だ？
前原圭一くん。意地悪なこと言うけど、本当は優しいテレ屋さん。
Oh, jeez. Call me out, will you?
転校してきてようやく3週間。趣味は昼寝。
Probably.
最近トランクス派に転校。
What?
したよね。
もういいもういい。
How did she know? That's disturbing.
トランクス。
Why are you getting embarrassed about that? Why?
それもいい。
Apparently, there's absolutely nothing you can keep hidden here. Hinamizawa was not a place to be trifled with. It's pounding that in. Oh, I just realized how she probably does. If they do the hanging out laundry, to dry, and she's creeping around and perving around, she'd notice if he changed. Oh, look at that, though. Hey, potato, right?
そうだね。うちらさ、これだけ賑やかに練り歩いてたからね。みんな思うんじゃない？ケイちゃんもひなみざわに馴染んでくれたんだって。
ひなみざわは過疎だから。
Yeah, they need more people.
村中みんなが新しい仲間を歓迎してくれてるの。
I thought about brushing it off with something to the effects of, "You're kidding me," but I held back. Had I ever greeted someone who just moved into the city like this before? Thinking about that made me believe what they said wasn't a joke at all. We passed another person. Of course, we were called out to again the same way.
あら、こんにちは。仲良しそうでいいわね。
藤島さんちのおばさんだよ。こんにちは。
あら、前原くん、両手に花でいいわね。
I mean, she's not lying. We are pretty lucky here.
どう？生活はもう慣れた？
Instead of regurgitating a prepared response like I would have in the city, I responded with an emphatic nod. The old woman chuckled, voicing her appreciation of how energetic I was.
Good.
Yeah, it sounds like they really appreciate, like, a less formal approach out here compared to the city where everyone's just like, please, too many people, just move along, sir. Or ma'am. As I look back over at Rena and Mion, they give me a wink.
でね、そろそろお昼にしないかな。
Yeah, where? Rena's brilliant smile signaled the approach of an event that both Mion and I were trying to forget. We both look at each other.
俺も男だ。努力はする。だが量が多すぎる。
よし、ケイちゃん。ここはおじさんに任せなさい。
Uh-huh. Mion has never seemed as reliable as she does right now. I'd expect no less from the class representative. You better wait. She's gonna book it in a second.
レナ、どうせ食べるならさ、見晴らしのいいところで食べない？
Oh, we better work up an appetite?
それいい。賛成。
Is she still carrying it, though? Rena nodded her head happily in response to Mion's proposal. Where are we going? Where are we going? Oh, it's waiting. Oh, upstairs, though? We're gonna be like, cresting the top of a stone stairway, the shrine drawn straight out of my imagination appeared before us. It had worn down a bit through the years, but the fallen leaves had been swept up, giving it a tidy feeling.
ここはね、古出神社っていうの。
Real classic one.
多分見晴らしが一番いいところかな。
That's actually why they probably put it here.
よく覚えといてね。もうすぐここでお祭りがあるんだから。
へえ、祭りにしちゃちょっと早いシーズンだよな。
Well, I mean, they probably can't compete with the big ones that are happening. A lot of people probably leave to go to the city for the bigger ones.
綿流しは夏祭りじゃなくてね。昔は冬の終わりを喜ぶお祭りだったらしいよ。
I was embarrassed for assuming the festivals had to be held in the summer.
さて、弁当を広げてと。
Look at that view. Various colored lunchboxes were placed up one after the other on top of the plastic sheet. It sure did smell delicious. It was Rena's home cooking. It went without saying that it would be delicious. But is it even possible to finish all this? Hey, Mion, it'll take more than just a good view to get all this down, you know.
こんにちはです。
Ah, we might have friends. Hey, Rika. Oh, hello. These two new sprites we haven't seen. Well, we've seen Satoko's a little bit, but these are their summer outfits. Oh, very sweet. Wait, I didn't read that line. What am I doing? It was Rika-chan and Satoko. I don't know why. Like, I looked at it and I read it in my head and just moved on. Why are they here? Mion grinned over at me. I see. This was her secret plan. The power of numbers. You have my thanks, Mion. Following up where all the pieces were in place was my specialty.
騒がしいから来てみれば、これは何ですの？
Oh yeah, sure.
見りゃわかるだろ。これからランチタイムだ。ビュッフェスタイルだ。レナの手作り弁当に舌鼓だ。
そんなの見ればわかるでございますわ。どうして人様の庭でご座なんか広げてますの？
Oh, your family owns this?
神社は公共の場所だぞ。勝手に独占するな。
圭一の言う通りですよ。みんなのお庭にしますです。
やっぱりリカちゃんはいい子だな。座りな、そこ。一緒に食べよ
After opening up a spot for Rika-chan, I promptly turned my back on Satoko.
ちょっとお待ちなさいな。私はどこに座ればいいんですの？
お前に座る場所はないし、食べる分もない。
Aw, wait, she's gonna start crying. Rena's gonna go glory, and she's gonna punch us over the valley.
大丈夫だよ。さとこちゃんの分もちゃんとあるから。
ない。さとこの分も。
そんなことは許せませんの。リカ。はい、お箸です。
Both Satoko and I leap at the boxes, having it out with each other.
いやはや、ケイちゃん乗せるのうまいわ、ほんと。
Yeah, he definitely likes to spit him up.
才能あるのかもしれない。
はい、お皿。みーちゃんも、リカちゃんも。
Rena whipped out a pair of chopsticks and paper plates.
僕たちも頑張らないとなくなってしまうです。
そうだね。よし、参戦と行くかな。
いっぱい食べてね。ちゃんとみんなの分あるから。
Rena said as she opened up her thermos. Oh, look at that view, though. Just then I realized that this lunch was made under the assumption that 5 people would be eating. Oh, that's funny. It didn't change how much there was, but the implication behind it was different.
そのハンバーグは渡しませんわ。
Why does he look so happy? What an event. Oh my gosh.
いや、肘は反則だろう、さとこ。
襟首をつかむのも反則でございます。
It was a tough battle. Blocking with her full momentum and an elbow in the opening move, Satoko appeared to have the upper hand, but the difference in our proficiency with chopsticks proved to be fatal and gave me the upper hand.
最後のミートボール。
校長さとこ、破れたり。
Just a hork it down. Satoko and I amiably began choking at the same time, falling backward and spasming. Rika-chan patted me on the head to clear it, even though it was actually stuck in my throat. Seeing that made Rena blush and breathe heavily in excitement. It was almost like flowers were floating all around her. Okay. Rena's an odd duck. I don't, like, she's a sweetheart, but every once in a while, there's just this weird, like, what? Okay? Mion advised Rena to refrain from saying anything that could get her locked up. Yeah, please. This is how our meals usually go. I'd do anything in my power, just so things could stay like this. Oh boy. The intense battle calmed, and finally everyone reached a point where they could begin talking. Receiving tea from the thermos, I let out a small sigh.
日本語ってやつはさ、どうしてこう味に対する賛辞が少ないんだろうな。
I don't know, because what does it say? Itadakimasu says thanks for the food. Oshi is like delicious.
食事中の団らんって考えがそもそも近代に入ってからだからじゃない？
Really?
昔の人は無言で食事を済ませたそうだし。
Oh, that sounds depressing.
作る人もちょっぴり寂しかったろうね。
Or maybe at the time, like, silence was meaning that it was good, and if you said stuff, it was because it was bad, you were complaining. So maybe it would make them feel good.
きっと昔の人は食べるのに忙しくて味を褒める暇もなかったのですわ。
Or it also could have been the majority of people were eating to survive, and so if it tasted good was like a nice thing, but most of the time it probably didn't. That's just you.
でもね、美味しいの一言だけでも嬉しいよ。苦労の甲斐があったかなって。
She blushed a little as she said that.
美味しいです。
It was absolute perfect timing. Rika-chan struck Rena directly with praise. She looked straight at her with an expression of bewitching innocence.
Huh?
After Rena uttered an unintelligible noise, a ring of smoke rose from her head with an audible poof. Uh-oh, she's dangerous now. Run!
リカちゃん、お持ち帰りじゃなくて。ありがとう。本当に美味しかったですよ。
Rena, flushed with red with excitement, embraced Rika-chan and rubbed her cheek against her so hard he could almost hear it.
リカちゃん には褒めてもらったお礼に、じゃーん、これをサービスね。
Two apple rabbits. After sticking toothpicks into them, she thrust them toward Rika-chan. I've seen those before. They're interesting. After Rika-chan accepted them, the mood suddenly shifted in a bizarre way.
なんだよ、サトコ。その挑戦的な目は。
皆さんにはレナさんのリンゴを獲得できるだけの賛辞が用意で
She
きました。
bribes you?
強気じゃんよ。ボキャ品のあんたにどんな賛辞が思いつくっての？
では、ご覧遊ばせ。
Oh boy. After Satoko finished Mion and me in a defiant, flashed Mion and me with a defiant look, she changed the tone of her voice suddenly.
あのね、
Oh no.
レナお姉ちゃんのお弁当、サトコも美味しかったよ。
Satoko looked up from her looked at her proudly while talking cutesy. Oh boy. How is that praise? That's not even a persuasion by tears. That's persuasion by cuteness, isn't it? This is all Rena Limited's special skill. She blushed and her head spun, waving around in circles. Don't fall for it, Rena! Of course, I was asking for the impossible. Rena glomped. I've never seen that word before, and this got glomped. I haven't heard that in a long time. What the fetch? Rena glomped Satoko and began rubbing her cheek against hers. Glomped.
サトコちゃんもかわいいよ。お持ち帰り。はう。
Swish. Stab. Push. Satoko was also presented with apple rabbits. Wait. So I've heard like glomped like memed way back in the day. Like I say back in the day, what was it, like 8 years ago? I don't even know. But did it come from this, or was this a translation using like lingo of the time when it was translated? Because that would make sense. But glomp had to come from somewhere, so I just don't know what its origin is, and I'm not sure I want to know. After stuffing them into her mouth, she looked over at Mion and me with that defiant gaze. It took only 5 seconds to take down Rena. That's unfair to think she had such a trick. She knows her weakness.
悔しければレナさんにご褒美がもらえるような賛辞をお考え遊ばせ。
Yeah, interesting. But we're a guy. That might be our secret weapon. We're just a guy. We can just be like, hey, Rena, it was awesome, delicious, perfect. She'll probably just melt. Dang it! That was a dirty trick. First of all, that wasn't even praise.
サトコ、それで勝てたつもりとはね。あんたらの底の浅い技とはわけが違うものを見せてあげようじゃない。
Oh, what do you got up your sleeve?
それは頼もしいぜ、ミオ。それはどんな技なんだ？
やるのはケイちゃん。
は
見せてもらおうではございませんか。
I do think he's probably gonna get the best reaction.
豊島のあがきを。
The plan of attack she suggested was wicked, but it was the only thing we had to beat Satoko. Oh no. After slipping my tea, I started talking very naturally and calmly. Perfectly.
本当に美味しいよな。これってさ、全部手作りなのかい？
Oh, I'm gonna predict. How much you want to say he's gonna pause and he's gonna look her dead in the eyes and be like, "You're gonna make a fantastic wife someday." That'll work.
実はね、これほとんど冷凍物なの。
Really?
じゃあ、レナの手作りのってどれだい？
恥ずかしいな。教えなきゃダメ？どうしても？
From the synergy of boy plus handmade lunchbox, her expression melted into euphoria.
わかるよ。これでしょ。
Oh, that's really good. Rena turned an even deeper shade of red. The words "I can't believe it" practically written all over her face.
なんでわかるかな？レナの手作り。
Of course, Mion had told me beforehand. It's been perfectly fair. It's been perfect so far. After acting like I was shy, I waited a beat. Next would be the finisher. Here it comes. Was I right?
レナの
Oh, no,
匂い
no.
がしたから。
Ooh, I don't like that. Silence enveloped the area. Rena, face still completely red, frozen solid. Did she die? I'd want to die. With a small yelp, Satoko also blushed. Of course, I did too.
レナの手作りのリンゴのウサギさんが食べたいな。なんて。
Even if this was all because I was competing against Satoko, I felt like I had crossed a line by a good 9 yards, I think. Then at the moment, whoosh, nuclear detonation. It was a Tupperware container filled with rabbits. Fuck! Instantly, dozens of the apples were shoved into my mouth, knocking me over. We're gonna die. She's gonna choke us to death, drown us in rabbits. My head was forcibly laid upon her lap, and even more apples were shoved into my mouth while she was squealing, one after another. I was forced into my mouth more and more apples. How about them apples, Satoko? Looks like we win.
ケイちゃん、殉職見事なり。
I don't know, man. He's getting hand-cut apples, he made her blush, and he's laying on her lap. I feel like he won in every way.
どうよ、サトコ。うちらの完全勝利だね。
こんな手、信じられないですの。悔しくないもん。
Oh, very sweet of you. Satoko ground her teeth, mortified. We did it. I claim victory as my consciousness drifted slowly away from me. At that time, Rena stopped her squealing and she suddenly realized something.
リカちゃん、食べないの？塩水強すぎたかな？かな？
Oh, interesting. Wait, is she saying she used salt water for the apples? Because that's actually a really neat trick. If you put a little bit of salt on an apple, especially a tart one like a Granny Smith, it actually makes it really, really sweet. It's interesting. Looking over, Rika-chan pulled a toothpick out of the apple rabbit, placed it into her cupped hands, and seemed to be at a loss for what to do.
うさぎさんがかわいそうです。
Aww.
助けてあげてほしいです。
She didn't like how he was speared. Oh! Whee! Rika wins. That was the sound of blood spurting from Rena's nose. Yeah. Please stop being creepy. She shook sporadically, her head wobbling back and forth. Then, coming back to her senses, she took all the apples around me, gathered them up with a foot, and fixed them back up on a plate. Rika-chan raised up Satoko's hand like a referee after having that plate of rabbit shoved at her. She whispered,
僕たちが勝ちましたです。
Ah! Outplayed! Outplayed by the middle schoolers! I don't know, I'm done. Thus my sacrifice ended up being in vain. Oh, that could be the end of the chapter right there? Interesting. That was really short. Very lovely, though. Bum, bum. It was a fun-filled, crazy day. But as soon as the sun began to set, at the end of the day really did come too quickly. Oh, it was just a scene transition, okay.
じゃあね、レナにケイちゃん。また明日ね。
Bye!
ミオ、今日はありがとな。楽しかったぜ。
Yeah, it was fun.
また明日ね。
Satoko and Rika-chan went home as well. We parted ways with Mion, and it ended with just Rena and myself enjoying the evening air on our way home. Oh boy. She's got that main girl energy, doesn't she?
付き合ってくれてありがとう。楽しかった？
ああ、楽しかった。まだ家に帰るのが惜しいくらいだぜ。
あ、じゃあさ。
Uh-oh.
ちょっとだけ寄り道してもいいかな？
Oh boy, that sounds like adorably cute.
寄り道？遠いのか？
ちょっと歩くけどすぐ済むから。
Since we had been walking around all day, I must have seemed a bit tired. Not feeling like teasing Rena, I quietly nod. Okay. Nice hiking or bike trail. Oh, a quarry. Traversing a small path and up a small hill, the land suddenly stretched out before us. There, what looked like the remains of a dilapidated construction site came into view. Is this the old school? Oh wow, look at that. A large heap of garbage spread out toward the swamp. Probably illegal dumping. I recall it being in the newspaper. Alright, interesting choice. Not sure why you like it here, but okay. Oh, are you looking for treasures?
久しぶりって、レナの用は、ゴミの山かよ。
ゴミじゃないよ。レナにとっては宝の山だもん。
Okay. I wonder if Rena's like a budding hoarder. Rena had already entered that well-known cute mode of hers. So that meant that there was something cute here?
わあ、新しい山だ。
Okay.
ワクワク、ワクワク。
Walk, walk. That's an adorable sound. She descended into the unstable slope with ease. I'd expect no less from a born and bred country girl.
おい、待てよ。今行くから。あったたたた。
My city raised self was completely pitiful.
いいよ、ケイチ君はそこにいて。すぐ住むから。
Rena kindly declined my accompaniment.
転ぶなよ。足元に気をつけろよ。
大丈夫だよ、大丈夫。全然平気。
Famous last words. Literally bounding among the heaps of trash, Rena disappeared from sight. Didn't like being left behind, but I was still pretty tired from the whole day, so I just ended up waiting. Without the lively Rena around, the surrounding area quickly fell into silence. The cry of the Higurashi gently cooled the air. Fairly exhausted, I began to feel a little sleepy. Just then, the sudden noise of scattering pebbles alerted me to somebody's presence. Startled, I turned around. Who the heck are you? Standing there was a typical-looking photographer. He spied over at me through his camera. His body was tanned and fit, but something about him seemed unreliable and had a bit of an aloof air about him. Well, didn't seem like he was a bad guy in any case. He's also got the dog tags. I wonder if that's just a fashion statement or if he's actually like military or ex-military. Although startled when I turned around, he overplayed his reaction. That was my line.
驚いたのはこっちですよ。
ごめんごめん。驚かすつもりはなかったんだ。君はHinamizawaの人かい?
I gathered that he wasn't from that question. Unfazed by my suspicious gaze, he introduced himself without my prompting.
僕はTomitake.
Tomitake.
フリーのカメラマンさ。
Okay. Are you doing like journalism here? Maybe covering the illegal dumping?
Hinamizawaにはたまに来るんだ。
I didn't ask you who you were.
写真ってのは被写体に断ってから撮るのが礼儀なんじゃないんすかね。
ごめんごめん。メインは野鳥の撮影でね。断った試しがないんだよ。
What a creepy way to phrase that. Oh, I photograph birds. They can't refuse. So what, you're saying that I'm the same as birds?
いやいや、夕闇に黄昏る少年があまりにも絵になっていたんでね。本人の許可を取らずにファインダーを覗いたことを謝るよ。
Adults are pretty slick. All that annoyance I felt from being startled just flew away as he buttered me up. I had no intention of hanging around with this guy trying to get cozy with me, except it didn't seem like Rena would be back soon. But this older guy, Tomitake-san, he didn't mind my cautious response and continued rambling on by himself. Rena popped her head out from one of the lower piles of garbage and waved her hand.
連れがいたのかい? お、彼女はあんなところで何をしているんだい?
That's what I wanted to know.
さあね、昔殺して埋めたバラバラ死体でも確認してるんじゃないですか?
Tomitake-san looked shaken up by that for a moment. Uh-oh, I responded like that if I would. I responded like I would if I were talking with Rena and the others. Yeah, like he says, but like, what if we nailed it on the head? What if there was a body that was discovered here recently?
嫌な事件だったね。
Oh my gosh, there was!
腕が一本まだ見つかってないんだろ?
Oopsies! If she has an arm, I will freak out.
馬に蹴られる前に退散するかな。驚かせてすまなかったね、ケイイチ君。
Well, mood broken. Tomitake-san chortled suggestively and then disappeared into the twilight. Missing my chance to retort put me off a bit.
ケイチ君、 怒ってる？どうしてだろう？
It wasn't Rena's fault, so I decided to brush it off for now.
どうだった？掘り出し物は見つかったか？
聞いて。
Yeah.
あのね、あったの。ケンタくん人
A Colonel Sanders doll? Oh, gosh darn it. I was like, Colonel Sanders, what is that? I started going through, like, Japan stuff. Of course, technically, it's Kentucky Fried Chicken. Oh, man, I'll tell you what. There's a game that you should play.
ケンタくん人形？ってあれか？ケンタくんフライドチキンの店の前に必ず置いてある。
Yeah.
あの等身大人形の？
そう、ケンタくん。はぁ、かわいい。お持ち帰りしたい。
I'm terrified of what your basement must look like. It must be so full of just utter rubbish. Couldn't tell how she decides what's cute or not, but well, she seems to want it.
あれはゴミだろ。お持ち帰りしたきゃしてもいいんだぜ。
他の山の下敷きになってるの。
Oh, so we had to like shift the whole thing.
簡単には掘り出せないし、あそこ明かりがないからすぐ暗くなっちゃうし。
Rena seemed quite down about finding a treasure and not being able to bring it back.
俺も手伝ってやるよ。今日のうまかった弁当の恩返しってことでさ。
Aww.
ありがとう。
Birds heading home to roost proclaimed their nightfall would soon be upon us.
ケイチくんが手伝ってくれる。ケンタくんはお持ち帰りできる。はぁ。
Rena staggered along as if intoxicated in her dreamy state of mind. I tried asking her away in a way that wouldn't take her out of her cheery state.
なあレナ、あそこで昔なんかあったのか？
ダムの工事をやってたんだってね。詳しく知らないけど。
例えばさ、工事中になんかあったとか、事故とか。
知らない。
I don't like how you just answered that. Deadpan, Shiranai. Like, there's like monotone. Oh no. Her tone was disturbingly frank. Sounded more like a denial than an answer. Must have appeared rather dumbstruck. Rena quickly lightened her expression.
実はね、去年までよそに住んでたの。
Okay.
レナも転校生だったのか？俺はてっきり。
だからね、それ以前のことはよく知らないの。ごめんね。
Uh-huh. Don't really know. Don't want to talk about it. That was the kind of feeling she gave me. Thinking about it, of course it would be like that. There wasn't the type of thing girls would enjoy talking about. It was quite a disturbing incident. They still haven't found one of the arms. If it's just like San said, then I had a feeling only the Higurashi would know. Or, the newspaper? Usually they have archives in a library. You could probably go look it up if you really wanted to know. Just get a rough time when it might have happened. That's interesting. Like I said, if she's got that arm at home, one of her treasures, not liking that. I don't like how that's even feeling possible. Oh, new tips. Damn site murder. Okay, I just said at the beginning, and we're gonna do that. Like, this might make this episode extra long. We're gonna do the new tips. We're gonna do them right now. Okay, the damn site murder and the Marabara Manor. So we'll start with the Marabara Manor.
ケイちゃんってさ、すごいお金持ちってわけでもないの？
なんだよ突然。俺がいつ高級車で投稿したよ。
月の小遣いはいくらもらってる
？1000円。
That'll be like about $10.
あら、結構小市民的ですのね。
I don't want to hear that from you, Pipsqueak.
お弁当のおかずも普通ですよ。お金持ちじゃないです。
Thanks, Rika. Appreciate it. What are they talking about? To be asked out of nowhere how much I get and then told that's a plebeian amount?
ごめんね。
Rena seemed to pick up on my dubious expression and started giggling.
ケイちゃんちってさ、すっごく大きいでしょ？だから建築中からHinamizawa中で前原屋敷って呼ばれて注目の的だったんだよ。
I see, that makes sense. Marabara Manor?
あんなに大きいお家だからどんなお金持ちなのかなってみんなで噂し合ってたの。
I'm sorry, I clicked a little early. I see. Now I get it. Well, the frame of it is huge. I see how it could cause some misunderstandings.
私の推理ではお家を建てるのにお金をかけすぎて貧乏になってしまったと考えてますのよ。
Well, we know his dad is a painter, so maybe it's to accommodate a studio.
貧乏でかわいそうかわいそうです。
Assumptions. Rika-chan took pity on me as she patted my head. I'd go from being treated like a millionaire to a beggar.
諸君らの楽しい想像をぶち壊すようで悪いが、うちは金持ちでも貧乏でもないぞ。極めて平均的な。
I keep clicking too
大
fast.
きな家は普通とは言わないって。しかも玄関は立派で、門は大型車も入れるようになってるし。
I think I'm clicking too fast because I've gotten used to the text crawl and the lip syncing being synchronized in Chaos Head. I need to remember that's not the case here.
絶対普通じゃないって。
They do say the bigger your house, the more prosperous you are. Well, in general, it's because it costs more. It is a big house. The reason the house is so big is because Dad's studio's in it, too. There are a bunch of different workshops, and a lot of works are hung up in different places. All of them are huge, too. For those reasons, the family actually uses only a third of the house for day-to-day living. He planned it out so people and cars could come to see the gallery he opens up in the house someday. Interesting. I wonder how he expects to get much tourism up here. By the way, the entranceway Mion is talking about is the one from the studio and is normally sealed off. The entranceway to the Maebara family actually uses is a very plain and simple one. The interior is much different from how it looks on the outside.
ぜひ今度ケイちゃんの家を探検してみたいよな。お金持ちじゃないと主張しながらもあの邸宅。一体何が隠されているのか。
A lot of half-done paintings.
いいものが隠されてるといいな。
Calm down, Rena.
きっと家具を買うお金もなくなってて殺風景な部屋がいっぱいなのですわ。
Yeah, you know, hey, that's the new thing nowadays, right? You know, simplicity, minimalism.
絨毯のお部屋ならぜひゴロゴロしてみたいですよ。
Yeah, it's interesting. I always grew up with carpeted, but like now we're kind of stepping away from it.
それいいね、それいいね。レナもゴロゴロしたい。
Seems like their imaginations were just piling on. Well, something in the near future, it wouldn't be so bad to invite them all to my house. Dad is a sucker for the ladies, so he might even let them look around his studio. The cry of the Higurashi crescendoed as the sky towered over everything. It was hot, but the air was clear. It smelled like the beginning of summer. So this is a little earlier. All right, now let's see what this is. This is what I'm really wanting to know about. From June XXTH 1979 edition. Yeah, that's right, because this is taking place in the 80s. The Shishibone City Okinomiya Police Station, June XXTH, late at night. Suspects 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 were arrested on suspicion of murder and improper disposal of a corpse. The main offender, blank, so 4, well, could be any of those 3, had been added to the wanted list nationwide. According to our sources, the 6 suspects were at the Hinamizawa Dam construction site workroom on the 16th at 9 p.m., where they are suspected to have assaulted and murdered the site overseer as a group, dismembering his body and hiding it. On the XXTH, on 8 o'clock in the morning, a report was filed by the Shishibone City Hospital in which a male suspect alluded to having murdered Mr. XXX. When questioned at the police station, the individual confessed to the crime. Since a portion of the body was recovered at the location he gave, he was arrested that afternoon on suspicion of murder and mutilation of a corpse. The rest of the suspects were arrested on the same day, but the main culprit is still at large. Police are currently on his tail. The motive is perpetrated to be a drunken verbal dispute during which he killed the victim in a fit of anger. However, as there are multiple inconsistencies with their testimonies, the investigation is ongoing. Yeah, that's weird. Very suspicious. Like, here's the thing. A good rule of thumb when it comes to crimes of passion, right? So something you do in the heat of the moment. The idea is that they're not planned. And the people who perpetrate them usually also don't have a plan to get away with it. Maybe I could see someone who, after the crime is committed, stepping back, realizing they made a mistake, and trying to hide the body. Dismembering a body is another matter. Most people, even people who commit a murder, would get really squeamish and unnerved by handling a corpse. So even dragging a body somewhere would be a pretty monumental task for an average person, especially someone who had not been contemplating committing a murder. Being able to then dismember a body and hide the pieces is a really high step on the, disassociative side. The part of us that empathizes would really struggle with that. So unless they're a psychopath, or they planned and had been planning and thinking about this murder for a while, it's very unlikely that somebody would dispose of a body in that manner from a heat of passion. So that seems to me like it was planned. And that's interesting. Disturbing. Very disturbing. So if you view all tips, it'll have just those 4. Gotcha. Okay. That is how this is going to work. Actually, no. We'll go back to the tip screen because it has music we can listen to. But that's where we're going to end things for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for being a part of the channel, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Definitely long, but if every chapter is going to be about this long, we might be able to just slam out a chapter every episode. I could see the chapters getting longer in the future, but we'll see. It's setting a decent precedent for now, and I like the idea of us being able to do the tips at the end. So now, next episode, we jump right into the content, so that should be real good. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you spending your time here and hope you're excited for the next episode. I certainly am, but I'm ready also to see where this takes us. There's a lot of really little tiny things that are Obviously, you go into this with the warnings and everything, and the intro that was really creepy. Oh, the intro. I wonder if the intro was the chopping up of the body scene. That could have been it, because it was definitely chop, chop, chop. Okay. That might have been the murder at the dam. So that would make sense. Anyway, there's little things. Rena is the creepiest character so far. She's very lovely and cutesy, but all the talk about wanting to take people home with her when she really likes them, and even treasures at the place. She finds something that she just likes, and she wants to take it home. But the fact that people are included in that is a little weird. And she goes hunting in treasure where dead bodies were left. And the way she answered that question, when he asked, did something accident happen? She's like, I don't know. It was so monotone. It was genuinely, chilling. So, definitely something's gonna go up. Something's going down. It's gonna be crazy. They prime you for it, though, so I don't feel too bad. I don't feel like it's a spoiler. I have no idea what's gonna happen, but ooh, boy. Ooh. Interesting. It's also interesting to me that so many people were apparently implicated or part of the dismembering and hiding of the body. And the person who turned themselves in felt so guilty about it, they confessed. And they got everyone but the perpetrator, right? So who was the perpetrator coordinating all of this? Why were they willing to go along with it? And if they were willing to go along with it, why did they get cold feet after? It's odd. There's a lot of interesting oddities going on there, so it's very exciting to read about that and figure out more. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for being a part of the channel, especially to patrons and channel members. You're both amazing. You can say thank you for them here at the end of essentially in the credits. Appreciate your support, and I'm going to do everything I can to use the support you share with me to try and make the channel better. Life is taking interesting changes for me. It'll be a little odd getting used to a new schedule, but I plan to still make content regularly, so hope you're looking forward to that. But anyway, appreciate it. And until the next video watching me, I will see you next. I'll see you there.